Hey guys, today we have experts and insiders dropping bombshells about XRP potentially blasting off to $50,000 a coin, backed by models tying it to global financial giants like Swift and the DTCC. Is this the real deal, or just more market turbulence stirring the pot? I've been glued to these developments, and the vibe is buzzing with institutional moves and regulatory green lights that could totally reshape the landscape. Skeptics are going to roll their eyes. But what if this is the moment everything clicks into place for a seismic shift? Hang tight because we're peeling back the layers on connections that could launch us into uncharted territory. Let's dive straight in. Today, we're piecing together how XRP is carving out its role as the unsung hero of global finance, drawing from the hottest takes and analyses that explain why this might be the spark we've all been anticipating. I've uncovered some mind-blowing nuggets from key players in the scene, coupled with market trends that mirror epic past rallies, all filtered to cut through the clutter and highlight what it means for us as dedicated holders. Here's the exciting part. Envision the crypto world as a vast symphony orchestra, where everyday price swings are like the warm-up scales, chaotic and noisy, but the true harmony emerges from the deep, resonant notes of widespread adoption and tech synergies building to a crescendo. And right there in the conductor spot is XRP, its cap and clever features serving as the steady rhythm keeping everything in sync amid the storm. Kicking things off with some fresh gems from online buzz, there's this community figure, King Valix, who's been making waves with a forecast pegging XRP between 10,000 and 50,000 bucks once it hits full institutional stride. It's not pie in the sky dreaming. He's linking it to XRP powering massive systems like Swift for cross-border payments and the DTCC for securities clearing, where a high price ensures smooth liquidity without bottlenecks. This counters the endless FUD from critics who paint XRP as a relic. But let's be real, the pros shine bright. Near instant settlements at pennies on the dollar, a battle-tested ledger that's weathered storms no other has, and partnerships that keep expanding. On the flip side, those temporary price slumps can test your nerves, shaking out the impatient. But stepping back reveals how this dismantles the tall tales spun by Bitcoin purists who preach openness while their own chain chugs along with hidden fees and environmental baggage. Talk about double standards, guys. I remember back in my early days diving into crypto, I got burned on a hype coin that promised the moon but delivered dust. XRP is different because its utility isn't just talk. It's embedded in real-world rails that could handle trillions without breaking a sweat, pivoting to price action without overwhelming you with jargon. Picture XRP's movements like echoes in a Grand Canyon. The daily jitters bounce around lower ledges near $2, but the game changers, think ETF floods or alliance reveals, send shockwaves that build and multiply. Echoing the 2013 to 2017 era, we had those quiet buildups post-boom, followed by thunderous surges as real use cases took hold. Today, XRP is clawing back from dips, probing higher barriers that once shattered could unleash a serious climb. These echoes from history remind us that choppiness is merely the prelude to the roar, calming fears and affirming that sticking it out puts you in prime position. Linking back to our core buzz, if these visionary calls on utility-fueled highs pan out, this current setup might just be the quiet before an explosive symphony. And let's not forget the 2021 run where XRP spiked amid legal battles. Imagine that resilience amplified now with clarity in place. Now, stacking on recent headlines, reports are spotlighting XRP as the institutional darling, pulling in inflows worldwide, even as others bleed out. Get this. Amid billions fleeing Bitcoin and Ethereum in rough patches, XRP rad in hundreds of millions from spots like Europe and the US. This isn't coincidence. It's faith in its roadmap amplified by additions like the RLUSD stablecoin layering on more functionality for Ripple's ecosystem. It fuels the wild price guesses as big players hoarding at these prices could trigger a massive crunch when supply can't keep up. With a hard cap at 100 billion tokens and burns trimming the edges on each transaction, it's a built-in scarcity machine, standing in stark contrast to tokens that inflate wildly and cloak their ops in mystery. Experts are even saying utility alone could propel it to 50,000, emphasizing how its design handles massive volumes without the bottlenecks that plague others. And here's a wild connection. If just 10 Fortune 500 companies added XRP to their balance sheets, analysts calculate it could catapult the price sky high, potentially multiplying holdings exponentially as corporate adoption normalizes crypto reserves. Guys, let's weave this into the grand tapestry. The DTCC, handling a mind-boggling 3.8 quadrillion in yearly value, is shifting gears to blockchain tracks, and the links with R3 and XRP are getting tighter by the day. Insiders note Project ION on R3's quarter is running live tests alongside old systems gearing up for instant settlements that crush legacy delays. The real thrill, XRP's past with quarter settler marks it as the go-to neutral bridge for these flows. Its US regulatory wins, giving it a leg up on rivals. Backed by titans like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, R3 prioritizes liquidity and compliance. XRP nails it. This is pure utility play for back-end magic in equities, international trade, and beyond. Snagging even a fraction of that quadrillion flow makes those $50,000. Expert whispers feel tangible, rooted in massive scale rollout rather than hype. Picture it like upgrading from dial-up to fiber optic. The speed and efficiency could reroute global value flows with XRP as the conduit. This ties neatly into recent chatter, where top investors are ditching Bitcoin entirely to go Allen on XRP, citing its superior tech and regulatory edge as reasons why it's poised for outsized gains. Taking a swing at the doubters, Bitcoin deards love slamming XRP, but let's expose the irony. They champion pure decentralization, yet their setup devours energy like a black hole and crawls at speeds unfit for big league finance. XRP's protocol built for oversight in crunch times as a ex-DTCC chief, now in Ripple's corner stressed avoiding runaway trains that could wreck the economy. It safeguards the system from meltdowns, unlike energy-hungry proofs that might amplify chaos. And in the mix, fresh X chatter from Blue checked. Folks is cranking the volume, chatting parabolic spikes synced to charts and alt cycles where XRP grabs the lion's share, maybe 80%. Another deep thinker eyes 50 grand in 4 years, sensing a prolonged supercycle. This flips the script on near-term mayhem like leverage-fueled drops by zeroing in on enduring wins. Funds like Bitwise snagging top tickers ages ago, foreshadowing the rush. Heck, I've chatted with folks who've held through the lows and their stories echo this. Patience pays when fundamentals align. Amid today's dips, where XRP is facing downside from widely negative social sentiment, it's actually a contrarian signal. History shows rebounds follow such fear, especially with ETFs hitting $1 billion milestone in record time. Delving further into the institutional surge, we've got sound bites from big shots like Franklin Templeton's innovation lead lording XRP's blockchain for its stablecoin prowess and decentralized validators, ideal for machine-driven deals in Web3. They've teamed up with Ripple across borders, pushing through American snags, and it's now blooming wider. This bolts right to our theme. Experts greenlighting huge valuations via utility, because XRP's clear ops outshine shady alternatives, marking it as the elite pick. And that wisdom tree breakdown, it crowns XRP as the sole asset with non-stop inflows globally, matching Bitcoin's haul despite being slimmer per buck. That's 25-fold more new money. Why matters? In shaky eras, it comforts us that we're grounded in substance, priming for liftoff. Adding to this, recent expert panels are forecasting averages around 2.8 by year-end. But with catalysts stacking, some see it climbing to 5.25 by 2030. Conservative compared to our hype, but it underscores the upward trajectory. Yet even as prices crash 44% from yearly highs to around $2 amid retail sell-offs, institutional demand keeps surging, creating a classic setup for a rebound where smart money accumulates while others panic. Don't sleep on mergers and acquisitions. Voices like Bitwise's Matt Hogan predict a boom post-regulatory clarity with crypto outfits snapping up TRDFI and the reverse. Ripple's leading the charge, grabbing hidden road to fuse realms, crafting hybrids powered by their stack. This two-way street means XRP is not just upending, it's merging, snatching clients with superior efficiency and savings. Hook this to tokenization's rush. Big fish can't dawdle or their dinner. Pioneers dictate terms, seizing chains, cryptos tamed with rules, and setups paving for embrace. XRP's payment chops, escrow locks, and burns bolster this, underpinning pundit bets that as tokenized asset connector, prices could skyrocket. Imagine tokenizing real-world assets like real estate or commodities. XRP's speed could make it the default bridge, driving demand through the roof. Analysts are whispering about hidden catalysts, like a potential flash crash, setting the stage for an epic rebound, turning current fear into future fortune. Historical echoes post 2013 groundwork. 2017 detonated on uptake swells. Fast forward, ETFs smashing $1 billion in assets in weeks with outfits like 21 shares on SEC watch planting identical seeds. Themes like cross-chain links, safety, and anonymity rise. XRP slotting as speedy rule-abiding. Pit brief hiccups, say BTC and ETH's November drains against XRP's solid pulls. It's soul-soothing, morphing dread to thrill, spotting elite moves signaling our lead, and tying in 2021's resilience amid lawsuits where it climbed over 150, despite headwinds parallels today's post-clarity momentum. Only now, the winds are at our backs. With Bitcoin dominance showing crash signals, alts like XRP could go ballistic, as dominance drops often herald alt seasons where underdogs shine. Guys, ponder whale shifts and forum fervor. Posts muse on IMF oversight. nudging XRP to 50 grand minimum or sudden leaps if countries and lenders hook up. This ties to DTCC trials for digital stocks and pledges. XRP's impartiality linking pools patent spotlight XRP with XLM for clears. XDC absent caps narrate. XRP's 132 billion dwarfs others at a mere billion, grabbing half settlement, share 19,000, easy 12.5%, 4 to 5 grand. Yet that's one avenue. OTC wells drying, escrows capping drops, trades storming spots, jumping 2 to 5 to 10 in a blink. Community buzz even floats phased scenarios, 30 to 90 on ETF inflows, 200 to 2,000 amid liquidity squeezes, 10 grand plus from RWA tokenization, then pure FOMO rocketing to 100,000 as fiat wanes. Technical indicators like TD sequential are flashing by setups, targeting recoveries to 240 or higher as channels hold. Broaden the lens globally. Britain's dismantling ancient pipes, Europe's ground-up builds, Japan's full revamps, all prime for XRP. Insertion. Asia's pushing modernization with blockchain pilots, while Africa's leapfrogging traditional banking entirely. XRP's low-cost, high-speed transfers fit like a glove in emerging markets where remittances rule. Mind games. Maxis overlook XRP fixing drags like sluggish pricey sends offering solace in swings. Newbies. It's ditching carrier pigeons for jets. Pros spot the shrink-proof vibe, bucking pump norms. Psychologically, this setup eases the denial, transforming volatility's bite into a calculated advantage. Think of it as surfing waves instead of drowning in them. Amid retail sell-offs clashing with institutional buys, it's a textbook divergence. Whales loading up while crowds flee, often preceding massive pumps. Blend-in Chainlink data couriers sure, but XRP's the settlement beast tests with JP Morgan. Et al. Show tokenized pots crave both XRP, the heavy lifter for worth swaps, ARK's boss's dream, 30 to 50 trillion via XRP ledger pronto. A speck of quadrillions yet revolutionary. But wait, there's more layering in from the latest waves swell 2025 just wrapped, boosting XRP 12% with ETF listings popping on DTCC, signaling 11 products ready to roll. Ripple's $500 million raise at 40 billion valuation adds fuel, though watch for typical post-event dips. History's taught us patience pays. Institutional ETFs drove 844 million inflows this year, spiking market cap by 135 billion. Redefining big money entry. Franklin Templeton's spot on DTCC stirs sentiment, potentially unlocking more capital without touching current holds. Connecting further, Ripple's 1.25 billion hidden road buy embeds them in treasuries handling trillions daily, plus Treasury for corp cash flows, positioning XRP at finance's crossroads. This meshes with CBDC talks, where XRP could underpin digital bucks, amplifying Valix's model for 10 to 50 grand to handle RWAS, gold, and more without clogs. Community posts hype overnight, 50s if adoption explodes or phase jumps, 30 to 90 from ETFs, 200 to 2,000 on liquidity crunches. 10 grand plus from tokenizing real stuff, then FOMO to 100K as dollars fade. Critiquing deeper, Max's echo chambers ignore how XRP's efficiency slays their clunky model. Hypocritical when they bash utility while hoarding for scarcity alone. More history. 2021's climb over 150 amid suits showed resilience paralleling today's post-SEC clarity spike. Global angles, Asia's modernizing, Africa's leapfrogging banks, XRP's speed fits everywhere. And let's address the skeptics head on. While some experts push back on 10 to 50,000 as unrealistic due to market cap hurdles, the counter is volume from utility exploding that cap, turning trillions in daily flows into price propulsion. It's like dismissing the internet's growth in the 90s. Early doubters missed the boat. Analysts are even teasing that you have no idea what's coming for XRP, hinting at undisclosed partnerships or tech upgrades that could ignite the next leg up. On a forward note, crypto's evolution is unstoppable. XRP fueling empowerment by flipping doubt to destiny. As ties strengthen, scale up certain guys. We're teetering on the edge, fueled to grip tight, aware this rewrites rules.